I have heard from so many people that NUS students are cliquey. It's so hard to make friends when I went to Singapore, and it kind of did scare me a little when I was preparing to study abroad at NUS. But I actually found that it was pretty easy to make friends. Now, I don't want to discredit these other students' experiences because it may very well have been quite challenging to make friends with local students. However, I'll be speaking about my experience as an exchange student at the National University of Singapore and offering some advice to help make it a bit easier to talk to locals. Let's get into it. Now, what was my personal experience like? I do recognize the fact that I probably had it a bit easier than most people because I already had friends at NUS who helped me with settling in and showing me around. However, I did face challenges, especially at the hall I stayed at. Because I was coming into second semester, everyone already formed their own little group and I didn't know anyone. I also tend to sleep earlier and wake up earlier, which in Singapore is a bit crazy because most students don't even get back to the dorm until midnight and sleep at like 4 or 5. So by the time everyone is coming back and the hall is crowded, it becomes a great opportunity to talk to people. I was already fast asleep, not socializing. So how did I overcome this? My first piece of advice would be to join clubs and organizations. And I know you probably have heard this from so many people, join all the clubs and organizations, but it really is very helpful because everyone in that club already has something in common and it makes it easier to have a conversation. For example, I joined the varsity swim team and made some amazing friends. Although I needed to be the first to speak to them and introduce myself, but once we started to talk, it was easy to become friends and then hang out outside of swim practice. Rolling into my second piece of advice, NUS Global has a lot of events for international and exchange students that allows you to speak with local students who host the event. I was able to meet a bunch of friends who worked for NUS Global, especially since they were already curious about where you're from, what's it like at your home country or your home university. Another easy place to make friends are classes. I made local friends in my Thai drawing and painting classes, although we did travel to Thailand together, so it's easier to make friends with them, trauma bonding for real. But I often asked if my classmates wanted to study outside of classes, and then soon I just rolled into asking them to hang out outside, and then we started hanging out outside and became friends. And so jumping back to my hall situation, the halls has a lot of social events where I met some students, and it was fun to do activities like baking, hot pot, etc. with them. Although I wasn't able to make the most amount of friends in the halls because major hall outings like Sentosa beach days, I was already out of the country, so I wasn't able to build that connection with them, but it's okay. And like a really big tip that I had was that I always use myself being an international student the big talking point. Because I have a different accent, a lot of people would already ask me about it, and I would introduce myself and then say, I'm from the US. Have you ever been to the US before? And that often would get people very curious, interested, and they started asking questions, and then you start talking, and then now you're best friends. But I do want to emphasize that not everyone wants to be your friend, and that's okay. You just have to keep talking to a bunch of students until you find a group that clicks with you. So overall, would I say that NUS is cliquey? In my experience, I would say it's not. Everywhere will have people forming their own groups, right? We're all drawn to staying with people we already know. So I wouldn't say NUS is any more cliquey than other schools. If you talk with enough students and approach them with being genuine, then I think it'll be easy for you to find the people who vibes with you. You just have to get over the fear of rejection. Some people may just not want to be your friend, and that's okay. There's so many people at NUS that you're bound to find at least one person that wants to be your friend. If this video helped you, be sure to subscribe because I'll be posting more study abroad content like this. Let me know in the comments what other aspects of NUS you are interested in. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.